Hello to all of you from around the world. I want to welcome you again to another great edition of Soulivity Today, broadcasting live from our studio right here in the nation's capital and on KMET 1490 AM radio in Southern California. Of course, you know me. I'm Brian Westley Johnson, and I'm your host for today. But back with us are Soulivity senior contributor, Dr. Chanel DeGuzman, and host of Consciously Awesome Living, Sheila Applegate. Good morning and good hello to both of you.
Good morning.
Well, good hello to
And
you,
hello.
Brian and Sheila.
As I said before, we have a fantastic show for you today. But before we get to that show, question for both of you. Chanel, do you have a spiritual tribe? Like a community or people around you that help empower you?
I do, Brian. I do. I call them my community of love and light. And
Oh,
it's
wow.
just, honestly, it's mostly women, but there's men, but mostly women just full of love. And we don't have to, well, let me say, we can illuminate that love and light when we're together, and it just flows, and it's just beautiful. And it's so, I'm just so grateful for it.
Wow. I love that
Mhm.
name. Ooh. Say, what's the name again?
Yeah. Love and light.
Ah, I love
And
it.
it's just my
Ooh.
my community of sisters full of love and light. Mhm.
Sisters are doing it. I love that song. I'm hearing that song as you were talking. What about you, Sheila?
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure you have a spiritual tribe.
Well, you know what? Yeah, the first one I want to talk about, because it's kind of my the safest, wonderful place for me, and that's the collectively conscious community. And it's people who have gone through
Wow.
Consciously Awesome and are just really working in a deep level to integrate higher consciousness into their life. But I also am fortunate enough, I was thinking about this over the weekend. I was at a celebration for Baba Sir Chanji, which is one of the Sikh prophets. So I'm welcomed into the Sikh community. And then tomorrow night, I'm at a
Oh,
moon ceremony
wow.
with the Haudenosaunee. So I just feel very blessed to be in many spiritual communities. And yet, to me, they're all one.
Mhm.
Well, I get the
Yes.
benefit. I get the benefit of having all of that as part of Soulivity. Because both of you are part
Yeah.
of Soulivity, so I get to have it all.
You're a part of my
And that,
community too, Brian. So Liberty is definitely part of my spirit community.
love you both.
Absolutely.
Well, listen, as you kind of guessed it, everybody, we're talking about spiritual tribes, spiritual communities, which is one of the most important aspects of a spiritual path. You know, in Buddhism and some other yoga traditions, it is known as Sangha and is a central part of the meditation process. You know, a great teacher once said, environment is stronger than willpower. And so today, you know, we want to kind of highlight the fact that, you know, you can have plenty of willpower on your path, but if you're kind of surrounded by or you're immersed in either a negative environment or around people who kind of are like standing in your way, it can be a roadblock to your success to grow and expand and reach your highest potential. So we're going to be talking today specifically about how you can create a beautiful tribe of empowering people so you can evolve and create your best life today. And guess what? We have a phenomenal guest who's going to be helping us talk about this today. But let's learn a little bit more about her. Mary Ellen POPYK is passionate about creating community and a place for metaphysical leaders, healers, and experts to come together to share their knowledge, insight, and products. Since 2005, she has been producing metaphysical and holistic events, and she had the first of its kind, a store and a meeting place in Memphis, Tennessee, culminating in hosting many well-known speakers, teachers, readers, and practitioners. Now, when she returned to Florida in 2013, she began hosting larger events, working with the different energies in varying locations and building on the connections made during the shows in these different cities. Now she's the creator and owner of one of the country's largest metaphysical and holistic shows, which now covers the Northeast from Florida to New York. Now, she's been intuitive since a young age and pursued metaphysical studies since she was 12 years old. She's well-versed in many religions and spiritual paths, which enhances her ability to connect with people of varied belief at her events. She has studied reincarnation and does presentations on the science of reincarnation. And as a historian of cultures, she studied extensively ancient Atlantis and can speak to the history of that area, especially how it relates to where we are now in our world's evolution. Now, Mary Ellen loves creating space for different mind, body, spirit professionals to connect with those interested in their work. She calls this work sacred marketing, and she shares her time between Central Florida and Central New York with her beloved corgis. And when they aren't being too rambunctious, Mary Ellen hosts a weekly podcast show to help raise the consciousness about the life beyond this dimension with her co-host, Jerry McDaniel. And with that, we want to welcome Mary Ellen POPYK to Soulivity today. Good morning and hello to you.
Good morning, and thank you for having me.
Absolutely, absolutely. We were talking offline about this. I always talk about stuff we talk about offline. We could just have a show about that, actually. I am excited about this because I think that we talk about this generally amongst, privately sometimes. Well, I love my tribe and da 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 da, but we don't really have full-throated conversations about how important it is to have people that are around you that are empowering you and you're empowering them as you're going through this journey. And so part of what you do is all about that. And so I'm just like raring to go, like right now. Mary Ellen, how did you get started in this business of like metaphysical and holistic events in terms of like producing them?
Go way back. When I was a kid, I could sort of see and hear, experience things other people couldn't. At the time, I didn't know. I thought everybody could. And I would talk to my mother about it. And one day she laughed at me in a way I realized she thought this was a game and that she didn't know what I was talking about. And I just remember that feeling in my chest was like, wow, this is weird. Okay. So I had what I would consider a download, a spiritual experience in church. It was first communion rehearsal. I was 7 years old. And I had a recollection of knowing Jesus, of what it was like when he was there, and kind of comparing that to what I was being told in the church. And again, I was raised Catholic. That's part of my heritage. But again, I knew that there was way more to what we can see and hear and know. And I just kind of sat with it until I was 12. My parents were divorced. My dad was remarried. I was staying at my dad's one weekend. I came downstairs in the morning and my stepmother was reading the paper. And she said, "Hey, there's a psychic fair today on Erie Boulevard. Do you want to go?" And I said, "I'll get my coat."
I know, right? You coming with me?
Yeah. And when I went, it was just like coming home. It was meeting my people. And this was way
Wow.
before internet or anything. There was no resources. And I literally just spent the afternoon just going around and talking to people. And that meant so much to me that later in life, I was newly divorced, living with my child in Memphis, Tennessee. And same thing, there was sort of nothing like that I felt like I could connect with people. And that was how I ended up starting. I did my first show in 2005 there, and then started the store. And then that's what people were telling me. They would come there and they would meet people or reconnect with a friend they hadn't seen in years. And I realized kind of
Wow.
what was going on, that we were really a gathering spot, in addition to the commerce that was going on. So the importance of that it really became evident, and it's exciting.
Wow. That's fantastic. Wow.
Mhm.
Sheila, I'll go to
Mhm.
you for a question.
I love that story, Mary Ellen, and how you were just drawn from such an early age, not just to the holistic and metaphysical part of life, but the knowing that you don't want to be alone
Hmm.
and that it's so important to bring people together. So, first of all, I want to honor and thank you for dedicating your life to creating that space of allowing people to come together and realize that it's normal.
Hmm.
what
Hmm.
what has it been like for you to experience this? Have you felt your tribe from the people you gather together, and how have you noticed that changing over the years? Because things have changed a lot since 2005.
It has and it hasn't. People in the community are just looking for other resources, other ways that they can connect with spirit. Um, and then also looking to meet others of like mind. And it usually happens in ways that you don't expect. You might talk to one person there and then you end up keeping in touch,
Mhm.
through, many different ways. I keep hearing the coolest stories about that. The way that we are connecting through the internet and social media and doing things online, that might be the only thing that's different. And while that did help us keep connected during the pandemic, I think then people got sick of it really quick. It really
Mhm.
reinforced the importance of being able to be together in person sometimes. So
Yeah.
that was something beautiful that did come out of that, I have to say.
Mm, mm,
Mm,
mm, mm.
definitely.
Beautiful,
Yeah.
beautiful. Chanel, did you have a question?
Yeah. Well, Mary Ellen, I'm excited to learn about your journey. And obviously I don't know if you consider yourself a spiritual leader, but you obviously have to continue to um, go to that higher level as you continue to attract and empower those in your tribe. What is your practice in terms of
Mm.
your spiritual development and evolution? Can you share that with us?
That's a great question because I never really considered myself a spiritual leader. And then I realized people were looking at me to lead because it
Mhm.
was, when I create the events, I'm the one driving the bus, so to speak. And I get so much from the people that are there that I feel just blessed and just sort of one of them. But what is really important to me isn't just my spiritual tribe to be able to connect with others of like mind. It's very important for me to have the support and a group of people that I know, even maybe that they're not quite into this as much as I am, but they're the
Mhm.
grounding factor. And I think that that's
Mhm.
important for people. I tell people who sometimes have partners that aren't really necessarily into the spiritual path as they are, that sometimes that's not a bad thing to have somebody that can kind of ground you, that we're not always kind of into the ethers. And it really is just finding the balance, I think, with everybody. So my spiritual practice is to both connect with others of like mind, to do my own work, my own research, the meditation, of course, that nothing replaces that every day, is to do the meditation.
Mhm.
And but also then to have the people that ground you, and avoid the people that really, the naysayers. And we all have those in our life, but not to let them get us off our path. Everybody has a different belief system in all different ways and shapes and forms, and it's okay. And I think that they call it into the woo. Sometimes that gets a bad rap that they, but fortunately that is something I've noticed. It is becoming a little bit more mainstream now, which is also good. And then I feel like we can connect with more people than we used to.
You know, we're
Absolutely.
we're laughing, Mary Ellen, because Sheila has gotten on us about talking about woo. Like, listen, everybody. Listen, this is how we're doing it this morning. We're having this fantastic conversation about creating your spiritual tribe and community, or your empowered group. We're going to take a quick break. Nobody's going anywhere, but we're going to be back in about 2 minutes talking more with Mary Ellen POPYK about having a spiritual community. We'll be right back. Soulivity Today is brought to you by Happy Travelers Tours and Old Vine Wine Tours. Find all of the Satana products at our Go shop at go.soulivity.com.
Have you ever asked the question, if I was to be anything, what would I be? Regardless of money, regardless of status, beyond popularity and fame, living your passion, feeling your life has purpose. Soulivity is a space to nurture that which lives in all of us, a place where work can become play, and doing what we love creates the dreams of a lifetime.
Hey there, we're back with more of Soulivity Today. We're talking about how to create a spiritual tribe and a community with metaphysical and holistic event producer Mary POPYK. Mary Ellen, this has got to be something that has personally been so enriching for you. Can you tell us a little bit more about, like, as you're producing these events and you're having these people come together with you, the personal impact it's had on you over this last decade and a half or so?
From early on, I was so heartened by those stories that I would hear of people that said that they were at my place and they had run into somebody that they hadn't seen in years, and then they ended up staying an extra hour so that they could talk
Wow.
and catch up. And nothing's ever an accident. There coincidence is just spirit's way of making things happen. But even recently with the shows, we do a lot on social media and people will comment about things. And it's not uncommon for people to say, I don't have any friends that are interested in this, or I wish I knew somebody. And I will always tell them to come. We had a neat exchange this last show. A girl literally posted and said, I wish I had someone to go to this with. And I
Wow.
responded and said, you just never know who you'll meet. Introduce yourself when you get to the table. We can kind of get you started. Then some somebody from one of the stores said, "Oh, we're in your area. We have a group that meets at our store. We'd love to see you." There was more responses. And then finally, one of her friends, it was a week later, said, "Oh, I'll go with you." And I just loved threads like that. It just makes me so happy because this is a big part of why we do what we do. So yes, that is extremely fulfilling and it makes me so happy.
Wow. I
That's
love that. And
great.
just so how
Mhm.
like that when you put it out there, when you open yourself
Mhm.
up, the universe goes, "Oh, oh, oh, goody, goody. Here.
Mhm.
Here's all this good stuff."
Yes.
Chanel, I'll go to you.
Well, that's a wonderful experience, and it's so wonderful that you're able to have these personal impacts. Mary Ellen, what do you see as the higher aim, and the intentionality that you are hoping that your tribe, the people that you're attracting, um, take away, grow, and develop from in this space?
My tribe is not just the people that come, but it's very much the people I would call the vendors, the people that do the shows, and that's anyone from intuitive readers to holistic health practitioners, the people who sell merchandise, crystals, and a lot of them create their own wares as well. So their life, blood, and passion is in what they're selling. So again, this would be sacred marketing. And what I see is more of a development with them as well. When they come, they can see what other people are doing. They grow from that. I was mentioning before we all got started this morning, we start every single show, we gather all of the vendors together in a circle and we connect our hearts and minds just for the purpose of who we're connecting with.
Wow.
The
Mhm.
people that come, we always ask to say the perfect thing to the perfect person at the perfect time, but then the connections that they can learn with their crafts, with their wares, I see the development of that, and that's really important. Then the connection that we make to the community is just attracting the people that will then take what they've seen and heard and learned and experienced and felt out back into their community. And then they can share that in their
Mhm.
homes, in their workplace, and perhaps with other places of commerce. And it just, the ripples, I think, last much longer than our actual event there. So I just see more of that developing, which is also really exciting.
Absolutely.
Wow.
I love that ripple effect.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Hopefully it continues globally and yes, worldwide.
Love it. Love it. Sheila?
So, I was going to ask you how you prepare that space because it is such a sacred thing that you're doing. And so since you just answered that, I want to honor that for you first before I move on and just say, you know, you can create a show and you can bring the people together and you can be successful, but it's a completely different level when you
Hmm.
purposely join that together to create a tribe, multiple tribes, and to give to the land. So, speaking of the land, you were pulled up from Florida to central New York. And I love the way I've been watching you sort of blossom in a space that you didn't, full circle back to your childhood. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
That's been really, really neat too, because that was where I got started to be able to return there with that. And the energies are different in Florida. Of course, people are different everywhere that you go. As
Mhm.
as Brian mentioned in my introduction, I do resonate with the energies of Atlantis a lot. And I'm watching what's going on in the United States. And I really feel like that what happened sort of in the later times of Atlantis is kind of what we're going through in the United States. It's just a repeated cycle. And that it seems very chaotic, but people are very confident that their beliefs or their views are perhaps better than another. And what we're working through is learning about getting along. I really jump topics here, I know, but I'm going to circle back. Um,
It's okay.
we're learning to work together. We're learning to find ways that we can have more in common rather than what we don't agree with. And
Hmm.
so when I can look at it from that perspective and I kind of see where we're going, to me that sort of softens it, and I understand that it's just a process to get to where we're going. So similarly with New York, the energies are just different there. The land is different. Things go much deeper there with the land. And again, the mountains and the trees and everything, it's the same, but it's different energy. And I just love being able to experience that. So I am really interested to see the people that are coming, that are attracted to that, their perceptions too of the shows. I feel like we're going back to do a show in Memphis as well.
Mhm,
So I feel like
mhm.
I'm just coming home in all of these different regards this year. So but it's been extremely fulfilling and cathartic for me to be able to bring this back home, and then for me to be able to spend more time there. I did love it there. I, as a kid, was not a fan of the cold at all, but it just isn't as cold as it was. And it's just a joy to be back, and a joy to be bringing my work back there with me. So thank you for asking about that, because you're an integral part of that. Being able to connect with people like you up there.
Thank you.
Mm,
Well, we're glad to have you
aw,
here.
that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Mary Ellen, we've talked a lot about like the events itself, how it's had a personal impact on you, and kind of the informational kinds of things. Can you talk to our audience about, you know, the importance of seeking out, like some of the things that you have seen? You kind of shared the story about the person who was like, well, I really want to go, would really like somebody to be there or to go to this event with. Why do you believe we need to do this work? Why do you believe that we need to have this kind of communing with others?
In my personal journey, starting from when I was very young, what was important was just knowing what I don't know, learning that there's so much out of the mainstream constructs of religion and social acceptance and what's normal. So that would be the first thing, is for people to go. They don't even necessarily need to open a book or anything like that, just seeing what else is out there, and then you can see what interests you. So that's the first thing, is just knowing what we don't know, which is a
Right.
lifelong process. You'll never, I don't think, ever feel like that you've truly mastered anything or everything.
Right.
Then once you see all that there is outside, being able to connect with other people and find the resources for the learning. And often we jump. Sometimes we'll study something for a year or two, or kind of really relate to it or get into it, and then it just kind of might segue into something else. But that, to me, is really important, is in coming to the events, is we have speakers all day. And this isn't a marketing pitch. There's speakers all day. And sometimes people, and I didn't know this either, sometimes people will come just to listen to the speakers, because there's so many different types of topics, and that they'll sit and they learn things and get takeaways from that. Um, so that would be another thing too, is the different opportunities for the learning and education that they can do much after the show as well, that they can follow up on.
Wow, I love that.
Hmm.
Because we're human beings. I mean, spiritual beings specifically, but even human beings, we're really not designed to even believe that we're alone and we have to do this alone.
Hmm.
Um, our lives are infinitely better when there's just even one other person that we're
Hmm.
partnering with to create our lives and enhance our lives and evolve and all that kind of thing. So thank you for that. Thank you for that. I'm just a true believer of that when we open ourselves up to the possibilities of doing things with others, that the universe just supports us in that
Hmm.
immediately. Like it doesn't even
Hmm.
wait. It's not like, oh, I got to wait a couple of days. It's like, no, like that day you get a phone call.
Hmm.
Hey, I was thinking about you. Want to know if you want to go to this event. Uh, Sheila, do you have a question about this?
Um, well, I'm thinking about the speakers and everyone that you have to teach, because this is 2 days worth. So can you tell me about the speakers and about how that usually goes, what topics are usually addressed, things like that?
It's really varied. And we make sure that the people that speak aren't really just doing sort of an advertisement of their business, which fortunately doesn't
Ah,
really happen, which is good. But they
Okay.
could talk from everything from, we have several people that have written books about near death experiences. And then they can really talk and you can answer questions. They talk about chakras, about astrology, but they'll teach you how to do things or how to apply the different things that they've learned. We have, gosh, there's just so many. I'm trying to think of even what's coming up for the Syracuse show, how to connect with your angels, spirit guides, very fact-filled talks, as well as the experiential ones. One of the really most popular ladies down here, she's a soulmate specialist and she's a palmist. So she'll have people look at their palms, and yeah, she'll do that in the hour. And then you can see, even if you're in a committed relationship, you can kind of see different things that were faded in your palm. And there's really something to it. She's really good too. So there's all kinds of varying things that you can see. And then sometimes the new devices that are coming out too, people will speak to them and actually demonstrate, and you can see, because a lot of new technology is coming out, for lack of a better word. We're being remembered, I guess. Sound therapy, that's something, I think that's way ahead of its time. I think in about 30 years that the medical profession, mainstream medicine, is going to be using more with the sound and the vibration, and then we're going to realize the importance of that. So those are just a few of the things that I've seen, and I wish I could sit in on them all day. I'm lucky if I can pop in for 5 or 10 minutes, but they're really good.
Excellent.
Oh
Very
man,
exciting.
this is so cool. Listen, we're gonna take a break, ladies, but we're gonna keep talking about this because spiritual. You have this amazing event that's been going on for a while. It's Spirit Fest, and we're gonna talk even more about that in the next segment. We want you to hold tight too, because you want to hear about this, because you'll know about when it's coming to your area. So we'll have more of Soulivity today in just a couple minutes. We'll be right back.
6 years ago, when I started Soulivity, my vision was to support everyone in improving their life through the discovery of their passion and purpose, so they could become the best version of themselves, to battle fear and ignorance, and create a better world today. Get inspired to live your passion and purpose. Visit Soulivity.com now.
Do you see me kneeling on this dual roller called Parasetter? It's actually comfortable because of this channel and the softness of the special foam. It feels like my kneecaps are being massaged. When I lie down, my spine is housed in this channel, while the convex rollers massage my muscles. They let go and lengthen. There's a traction effect from my head on the headrest and my mid-back from the rib wrap, which hugs me. When I start the breathing sequence, I feel calm because my cortisol levels are dropping. Lower cortisol means bye-bye constant hunger. Parasetter is 40 inches long and much more comfortable than old-style rollers, but it weighs only 10 ounces. Parasetter, just like Pilates was, is no longer an insider secret. Do yourself a favor. Reset your parasympathetic nervous system. Defeat stress. Lying, sitting, kneeling, or standing. This unique patented roller helps everyone.
Hey, we're back with more of Soulivity today. We're talking about how to create a spiritual tribe and community with metaphysical and holistic event producer, Mary Ellen POPYK. Mary Ellen, you have this fantastic event that's been going on for a while now called Spirit Fest. It is something that is completely amazing. I can't wait to go. So you need, anybody to kind of like, test out any of the vendors and that kind of thing. I'm your man.
Oh, good.
Just want to let everybody know you can find out more about Spirit Fest by going to spiritfestusa.com. Can you tell us, one, how did this all come about? And then two, when is the next event, and how can, is there going to be any special things happening? So first of all,
These are all great questions. These are great questions. because it's, again, the coincidence and the synchronicity is just really neat for me. So when I was in Memphis, I decided that I wanted to do my first show. And I can't even say that it was a raging success. We booked at a venue that's really good, but there was several other events going on, which I learned you don't do that again because you're hard to find. Um,
Mhm.
but I had some friends help me with it, and one of the vendors became one of my very best friends. That I would not have met had it not been through that process. So, not maybe a year or so later was when we opened the store. And then it became more than a store. It was also a meeting place. That was our slogan, in fact, more than a store, more than a meeting place.
Oh,
We had the bay
nice.
next to us, yeah, that was for events, and we had teachers and speakers and different things going on there. We had easy chairs in the store so you could sit. We had a
Oh,
Reiki share, yeah. Monday night,
I'd
people
never
would
leave.
come. Yeah, it was really neat. So unfortunately, we kind of got caught up in the financial crisis that was at the end of 2008, 2009 there. But everything turns out like it was supposed to be. We reopened and closed that store in 2012 when I moved. We sold the store when I
Hmm.
moved back here to Florida, and again thought I was going to kind of put that behind me. So I worked at Disney and had a very magical life for several years, but again, very mainstream. Kind of took some time off, took some time to reset. And then I thought, I'd really like to do this again. So I started doing some small shows here. Then just about things were looking like they were going to get bigger. And perhaps I needed to think about stepping away from the corporate world. Pandemic. And everything shut down. The theaters shut down, Broadway,
Oh, yeah.
sports events, and I thought, oh no, we're done. It's going to be years. Well, who knows if we'll ever get back to this? I thought. So Florida has been a lot more open, I think, than other states, and after I only a couple months, they pretty much threw the doors open. And I try to be a little bit more cautious. I did really suggest people wear masks and stuff, but as early as June, they were doing events down here. So I
Wow.
planned a few
Wow.
events for October and November of that year, which went pretty well. Again, everybody was being fairly cautious, but the following March, so now it was about a year after pandemic, we did a show and it was amazing. There was so many people that
Wow.
came, and that's when we saw, oh my gosh, these people are just tired of being alone. They
Mhm.
actually want to be together.
Mhm.
They don't want to, get outside of doing things online. And again, online is a blessing, but so that's when we saw, oh my goodness, this was really a big thing. So we quickly lined up more shows and then saw the what people were saying and hearing. And one of the things I love is when multiple generations come in. It's not
Oh,
uncommon to see
Mhm.
three generations come in at once. Yeah. And by the way, we'll always give them a discount for admission. That's going to be an inside secret right there.
oh.
Because
We won't tell
yeah,
anybody.
I just love that people are sharing this and doing this together. So that's pretty much how we got to where we are. And we really make sure that money, finances, numbers are never a motivation for what we do. We just look and we go
Oh,
where we're needed, where there's probably not other events going on like this, and just see where the universe leads us, where we're supposed to be. So that's how we're kind of going from year to year.
oh, that's
Mhm.
beautiful. I love that story.
Hmm.
What pandemic's gonna stop you? Get out of here
Right.
with all that, you know.
Well, yeah,
Sheila,
and
yeah,
being yeah, I was
yeah, go
gonna
ahead.
say, and being so open, to helping and not being motivated by, for example, money or what have you, but just really being available. How do
Hmm.
you, Mary Ellen, attract let's say, I'll call average, meaning just somebody who has not fully stepped into their spiritual awakening or awareness. What are those ABCs that really would lend that person to step out and to attend Spirit Fest?
It could be many things. Like crystals right now are really popular. So a lot of people are
Oh,
attracted to crystals, and they'll come, especially younger people will come because they want to learn about them. Or another common thing is people that are interested in life after death. And often they've lost someone and they're looking more about that connection. Or like me, when I was younger, they've had experiences and they just want to know more. So it could be any variance of things that's going on. Sometimes it's just a super hot day in Florida and they just want to do something inside. But,
Well,
but a
that's
lot of
divine
people,
timing and order too, right?
yes, exactly. But I think one of the ways that I've described this is often people are interested in this and don't have anybody to talk to. And then they might mention one thing at work and then they'll find somebody and they was like, oh, you're interested in that too. And then, then they might end up going together, or, it gives them an opportunity to kind of create more time to be able to explore this. So those are just some of the ways, that there are things that are drawing people in.
Great, thank you.
I love it. I love it. Sheila, any final questions or thoughts?
Well, as you were talking, I was thinking about, I was at an event at Pure Placid for Laura Panicello's book release the other day. Both of those people have been on our show. And it was a pretty mainstream setting, and yet there was enough people speaking about this naturally that I watched all the others nearby being like, oh, this is my space, like realizing, oh, I can speak here. And so I would say, as you were saying that's, your shows are a really safe place for people to just explore, knowing that the other people there are speaking or at least exploring in that same arena. So I want to thank you for that. And I know you've got the one in Syracuse coming up, which is the first one here. So I'm just excited for you to share whatever you want. What do you want the people here or in the next place you go to know when it's new to them? What do you want them to know about what you're bringing to the area?
Just to come check it out, just and see what it's like, see what's going on. We always have free parking and food available. I'm always about the food. And then that way, just it's everything there that you need. Some people stay for an hour, some people do stay all day. But the Syracuse show is October 7th and 8th. They're at the fairgrounds, free parking. It's easy to get to. That's another thing, we always make it so that it's you're not going to have to take back roads to get there. But I'm trying to think about the Syracuse show on the website that he's scrolling through right now. When you go to Spirit Fest USA, you'll see a list of all of the events for the year, as well as more info about the next one or two that are coming up right there. The speakers list is on there, so you can go and actually see who's speaking and the times that are there. So that might help you decide when you might like to come. And then as we get closer to the show, we'll always post more information, because there's always a lot of special things that pop up. So the Syracuse show, we do have some free events too. The Awaken to Your Potential talk with Laura Panicello, but Jim Vieira, who has hosted 2 shows on the History Channel, he's really interesting, a historical researcher. He's also funny and just smart. Somebody who really does his research. He's going to be speaking free as well. So there's a lot of special things there at the Syracuse show. And then the week after that is Port St. Lucie here in Florida. That's also a great venue, and it's really fun just to come out there to that space. So people can just check it out and see what's near them and what interests them, and see which one is going to grab them.
Wow. Well, I might have to become a little snowbird or something and go down and fly south, into the loving arms of Spirit Fest, because that sounds amazing. That sounds amazing.
Well, we would love to have you, but I did want to share Washington, D.C. is on our radar. So.
Oh, nice.
Yes. Yeah.
This is my happy dance. This is my happy dance. And you let me know how Soulivity can support that.
Oh, thank you.
Because there's a lot of people here who I'm sure would love to be, not only be a part of that, but attend as well. So yeah, that would be great. Like a hookup between
but
us.
You have
on
a great platform here too. You get it. It's about bringing the people together and just providing that space for people. You guys get it. So that would be awesome. And I'd love to support you guys as well. This is really a great show.
Oh, well, thank you. Well, listen, would you come back and tell us about other events that are coming up and what's going on in your world?
Oh, I'd love to come back anytime. Yeah, thank you.
Oh, fantastic. Yay. I love that. I love those words. Um, th- Mary Ellen, thank you for being with us. I hope you know that you are part of our tribe,
Oh,
and a loving part of it, and that the work that you're doing is so important. I told you about that before we even got on air, that people need to know and really embody and feel that they're not alone, and that this work that you're doing across the country right now is doing exactly that for a lot of people and helping them
mhm.
move forward. So thank you for the work that you're doing. Appreciate you so much.
Yeah, well, thank you. And it's a
Thank you.
joy and an honor to be here. So thank you for having me, everybody.
Aw.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Listen, yeah. Listen, everybody, we're going to take a quick break. We got more Soulivity today coming up. So stay right there. We'll be back in less than a couple of minutes.
Hi there, Sheila Applegate here with some exciting news. I've joined the incredible Soulivity team as the host of the new Consciously Awesome live show, where I will be sharing insights to help you discover your full brilliance and claim the vibrant life you deserve. So tune in every Wednesday right here on Soulivity TV to join the fun, and remember to subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss a single episode. Have an awesome week, and I will see you on Wednesday.
Would you like to be one of the first people to experience mental freedom? Mental freedom is a coaching practice with 6 core principles: improving hope, self-efficacy, optimism, resilience, and general well-being. Mental freedom only takes 6 sessions. It is designed to give you the tools you need to help yourself. It can help with any situation: relationship problems, past trauma, career decisions, parenting challenges, addiction, and mental health concerns. Incorporating the mental freedom framework into your life will deliver an approach to master any situation and a pathway toward achieving inner peace. Mental freedom provides the information and tools that you need to grow and be bigger than anything that ever happens to you. So if you're looking for one-on-one or a group coaching program that will allow you to address any situation that comes up in your life with practical tools to give you more peace and joy, then join the Mental Freedom Program in Soulivity's Aspire Academy. There are very limited spots available, so don't delay. I hope to see you there.
Hey, welcome back to Soulivity Today. Who is ready for some Soulivity shameless plugs? Just want to remind you, first plug is go to spiritfestusa.com and check out more information about the next Spirit Fest USA that may be in your area. There's just some great things that Mary Ellen is doing, and I'm sure that you'll get a lot out of it if you attend one of those events. Who wants to start first? Chanel, you want to go?
Sure. Well, I just want to put a explanation point. I love her commitment, Mary
Oh
Ellen's
man.
commitment.
Mm.
That was just incredible and very inspiring. So, Brian, I didn't get a chance to say earlier, I did a book signing, you guys. I didn't get a chance to say
Oh,
this week.
yay!
Yeah, I attended the 2023 Great Lakes Women's Business Conference over the last 2 days, and I was a featured
Nice.
author, Sheila. So that was fantastic, and got a chance to
Awesome.
share
Congratulations.
thank you, some of my books. And, I write dissertations when I sign books. So it was just a joy to meet the ladies and just to hear where they're at. And, the same thing kind of kept coming up. I'm afraid to go after what I want. So listen, if you need help in figuring out what it is that you really want and then how to go after it, schedule some free time to talk with me and let's have a tea chat. My husband just brought me a hot cup of tea. I don't know where that came from, but I'll accept it.
Aw.
But I know it was so sweet. I already had a cup. But anyway, would love to chat with you, a tea chat over Zoom and find out where you are and what's getting in the way of you getting to where you really want to go to, and especially to that higher place. So thanks,
Oh,
Brian.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And Sheila, I know you've got some good stuff cooking up. What about you?
So continuing with the book, and congratulations again for to you, Dr. Chanel, for everything you're
Yeah,
doing.
thanks.
Tomorrow, Friday, Zach Hansen and I will be at Cafe 108 in Auburn, New York, signing the Energy Healers Oracle, which is our most recent book with 20 master healers from around the world collaborating together. And speaking of that book, at the Spirit Fest, we will be there along with another author of the Oracle. So we're going to do a panel discussion on Sunday, the 11th, or at 11 o'clock at the Spirit Fest weekend in Syracuse. So we will be there signing books and doing a panel discussion. So come check us out.
Wow. This
Oh,
this
that
is
is
so
awesome.
awesome.
Congratulations, Sheila.
Thank you. You
Yes.
know,
I
what's
love
cool
it.
is Mary Ellen knew one of the other authors that we haven't met yet from Florida. So she's coming up to be in it. So that's going to be a lot of fun.
Oh,
Oh,
that's
that's special.
awesome. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So much cool stuff is happening in our world
Mm,
right now.
yes.
Thank you for both of that. Thank you for being lights in this world. Before we get out of here, I just want to say, hey, go check out our soulivity.com page where we have great information, including this really cool article about, like when you go away, ladies, and it's like, late fall, winter, and maybe you haven't looked at your wardrobe
Right.
around winter clothes. Yeah. This is a great article in here about preparing your wardrobe for your next luxury winter breakaway, which is a
Mm,
fantastic article there. And there's even more information. Our Soulivity TV live stream goes on 24 hours a day to give you inspiration in so many different ways. There's so much different content. And you can find out a lot more about that content by following us on social media. Ladies, thank you so much for being here and being lights in this world. I
thank you.
appreciate you so much.
And thank you,
Until next
Brian.
time.
Yeah. Thank you.
Oh man. Listen, everybody, running out of time, but just want to say, listen, thank you for joining us for this edition of Soulivity Today. We hope that you come back each Monday through Friday at 8 a.m. Eastern for our live broadcast, or you can listen to us on KMET 1490 AM radio at 8 a.m. Pacific for all of you out on the West Coast. So until next time, keep living your life from passion, purpose, so that you can create a life full of high quality life today and living today. So we'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.
This work is subject to copyright owned by Affinity Global LLC. Any reproduction or republication of all or part of this is expressly prohibited unless Affinity Global LLC has explicitly granted its prior written consent.